Good afternoon, Queens Voice. Peter Kafalis reporting. Today I'm actually reporting from my home office here in Regal Park, Queens. Unfortunately, we've probably all heard and saw the news that there was a fatal plane crash yesterday in Brazil, in the state of Sao Paulo. It looks like, from what the Brazilian authorities are saying, there are 62 confirmed, everybody on board dead. From what we know, there are 60 Brazilian nationals that perished on that flight. One man who was a Venezuelan national and a woman who was a Portuguese national. So that brings us to 62, which included 2 pilots and a female flight attendant. The black box is undergoing analysis, so they did find it. What the condition is, I'm not sure, but I'm assuming it's in good enough shape that they're, attempting to extract information and see what happened. The ATR 72 is a turboprop. It looks like it was part of Vopass Airlines. This happened in Veneto, Sao Paulo. I'm not too familiar with that area. It looks like somewhat of a rural slash, residential area. Sao Paulo is a very big state. Not all of it is concrete, tall buildings, like the city. There's a lot of quieter and more rural farmlands outside of that. The plane did drop 17,000 feet in a minute, which, must have been terrifying for those on board, obviously. It was coming from Cascavel, in the state of Paraná, which is in the south, and it was heading to Sao Paulo. I'm not sure exactly where. And it's owned by Airbus and Leonardo. Franco Company, Italian ATR, jointly owns that. And unfortunately, the model, this particular model, has been involved in a dozen fatal accidents. I saw what the time frame for those accidents are. I'm not sure, but I did see online that it said a dozen fatal accidents. Let's, pray for all those people, their relatives, friends, co-workers who lost people, the 60 Brazilians and the 2 foreign nationals. I just came back from a beautiful trip to Brazil less than 2 weeks ago. I've personally taken probably 120 flights or more that either entered Brazil starting here in the U.S., came out of Brazil coming back to the U.S., or flights within Brazil, transferring planes going to different cities. They have a very big aircraft industry. Embraer, comes to mind amongst others that just a couple of years ago, Boeing was in talks to buy. A lot of the regional jets that we fly here in the United States are Brazilian Embraer jets. They do have a good safety record, and I think the last crash that was, any fatalities, was a larger jet, if I'm not mistaken. It was a jet. This was a prop plane. But that was in Sao Paulo, I think, at Guarulhos 12 years ago, give or take, 10 years ago. So there are thousands of flights, obviously, in and out of that country every day. I do know that the air traffic controllers in that country are not civilians. It's run by the military. So if anybody does have plans where they are headed to Brazil, don't let this deter you. It is a very safe, airline industry there. Or if anybody in Brazil is flying for the first time, like, one of my relatives recently, don't let it deter you, or, anybody else for that matter. Let's also, keep in our thoughts and prayers the arduous and very tough physical mental task that the first responders, whether it's, fire department, police, military, those types of people, forensic, are going to have to, unfortunately, go through. And, it's probably going to be a gruesome scene, to say the least. We've probably all seen the videos. I saw a really crazy one today from the back of the plane, and you've seen it all spinning, and people screaming on some of the videos, in Portuguese, saying the plane's crashing, it's falling. So, with that being said, unfortunately, we're reporting on that. There is a little bit of good news from this tragedy, at least. There was a man from Rio, a Brazilian, Carioca, and basically he had a mix-up at the airport where he thought his flight was LATAM, from what I read. And by the time he got to the right airline at the right gate, the staff at the airport said, "You're too late." They didn't let him board, or the plane had left the gate. I'm not sure 100% about how that happened, but basically what happened, his life was saved because he was late. And basically, he's a very lucky guy. So, with that being said, I believe the gentleman's name was Adriano Assis. So count your blessings. I mean, there's one silver lining on this. So if we get any more information, anything that's groundbreaking, we'll do another video. But very important relationship we have between Brazil and the U.S. For those who don't know, the two largest landmass countries, two largest economies. Long history of trade, military cooperation, so on and so forth. So, I don't want this to deter anyone from traveling to Brazil from the U.S. or anywhere else. And I definitely don't want any of the Brazilian people traveling outside of Brazil or, within Brazil to be deterred by this. I've personally, like I said, I just got off, the last month I took 4 flights that were Brazilian involved, going and coming. And I've probably taken at least 120 within the last 20 years. Very safe industry. They have a very big airport system there. For those of you who've flown to Brazil, you've probably been to São Paulo Guarulhos, which is, their principal airport. So just wanted to do a little story on this. It did happen yesterday. Unfortunately, no survivors, but the one gentleman was saved by, getting to the airport late, getting to the wrong terminal, airline, etc. So there's a little bit of a silver lining. Let's see what the black box reveals, but nonetheless a tragedy. Just wanted to report on that and let everybody know Queen's Voice was thinking about everybody in Brazil and the 2 foreign nationals affected by this sad plane crash. Peter Koufalis with Queen's Voice. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.